Hey, it's the Redeye stream number 139. I don't give a shit how you say his name, not going to even try. But he was grilled today by, was it Congress or the Senate? I've been doing yard work all day.
His name is Peter Strzok.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. His name, as far as I'm concerned, is General Zod. So.
Yes. Yes. It's the Zod man.
And it was by Congress, but it was by the House specifically. Remember the Senate is part of Congress?
Yes, I do remember that part. Thank you very much, MC, you dick. But okay, it was by the House. That means he had to sit through how many people fucking yelling at him? That's a lot of motherfuckers, right? I'm sure there was a line around the block, almost like when Subway gives away free sub sandwiches.
Well,
okay. Well, I don't remember.
There are several memorable things. There was the incident with Trey Gowdy, of course, because Trey Gowdy basically went after him and said, look, I want answers to very specific questions. And for example, in the text, he says, we will stop him or he'll be stopped. He will be stopped. Who's the he? And General Zod would go, well, in context of the memo, you got to understand the guy goes, I'm not asking you about the context of the memo. I want to know, who were you referring to when you said he? And
don't you remember? Context doesn't matter. That's what I want to know.
No, it's all about the nuance.
All right. So yeah. he got grilled by Gowdy pretty good, and he got grilled by Peterson pretty good. When Peterson was grilling him, it was kind of amusing. And one of the things that came out under that was, or not Peterson, Jordan. When Jordan grilled him, one of the things that he slipped up in is he admitted that the FBI had gotten that Steele, the PIS dossier, from Fusion GPS. All right, that's where they got it from, and that they had it, and that they were using it. They had used it prior to the BuzzFeed article where it was posted. So their claim that the BuzzFeed article was by itself was nonsense. Another part that he was. Hang on,
you're saying GPS. Can you?
The group GPS. The group Fusion GPS was the firm hired by Hillary Clinton to create opposition research. They're an opposition.
So what's the actual company name? I mean, not the
that is the company name. That's the company name.
Yeah, but it must stand for something. All right.
They just call it Fusion GPS. I don't know what the GPS actually stands for. It's not. It's as far as I know, it's not.
Well, it's got to be a global protection system or something. Yeah?
Grubby poof the shit.
Grubby poof.
Yeah, grubby poof the shit.
And then Gomer went off on him, and Gomer had the funniest line, which was, you're answering these questions with the same smirk, and as far as I'm concerned, it looks like you're lying. Saying that, do you have that same smirk on when you told your wife that were lying to your wife? At which point, you almost had a repeat of the caning incidents as the congressman went back and forth with one another rather than even questioning the witness. So that's what happened in the hearing today.
Yeah, but what did it prove? Okay, well, what was the real? What did it really prove?
All right, well, the real thing that proved was one thing that came out of it that's proof was the FBI lied when they said that they did not get the Steele dossier. All right, that they didn't get it from Fusion GPS.
Mm-hmm. So who did they get it from?
They got it from Fusion GPS. He admitted to that today.
Right, so it did prove that they got it from there.
Yes, and right. This is important because it means you took opposition research as gospel when you knew it was opposition research. They knew where it came from. In other words, they can't say now that when they took it to the FISA court to get warrants or anything, they can't say that that they didn't know what it was. They knew where it came from. They knew who had done it.
Shouldn't the first clue about it being bullshit then come from BuzzFeed?
Oh, this was before it went to. They had been trying to say that they got it from BuzzFeed, and they couldn't prove where BuzzFeed got it when they went to the FISA warrant.
But that should have just destroyed any credibility right then and there. BuzzFeed's like fucking useless.
Well, but they were using that as a secondary source, and now they can't claim that they were using that as a secondary source for going out and using it to say this is evidence. We now have that proves that as justification for a wiretap, which is what they were basically doing. That by going to get a warrant for a wiretap is what they used it for.
Well, just to be silly, you should start sending him links to 4chan pages.
QAnon dropped some new info. Don't you want to talk about QAnon? I mean, come on.
What did QAnon say?
I don't know. Just send them a link for QAnon.
Just send them a link for QAnon?
Yeah, let them run with that for a while. They'll run in circles like
now, Bad Dodge, you're giving suggestions to a federal government that was willing to use such a document as opposition research. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, why not?
No, that's a horrible idea.
I don't think we need to have any other better, great grandiose ideas on how to use, falsified documentation as justifications for a warrant.
How many times did he plead the Fifth Amendment or dodge the question?
He almost continuously. Almost continuously. He constantly came back and said, "Oh, the FBI lawyers have told me I can't answer that question. The FBI lawyers have told me I can't answer that question. The FBI." It was a freaking reframe and a reframe and a reframe. And Gowdy he got sick of that too.
So they was trying to use the military, the what do you call it over there? I mean, we got the secrecy acts and what were they? So they were trying to cover it by some kind of.
No, he's trying to use the excuse that the FBI doesn't want, that this is the FBI lawyers are telling him he can't say anything. The FBI lawyers are telling him he can't say anything.
But when they do that, they usually. Yeah, so they're calling on like the Christ, what do they call it over here? Aussie fellow.
Secrecy Act.
It's so you're not allowed to disclose this information.
Or
so it's calling on that, and so it's basically I tell you, but I'd have to kill you. It seems like one of those situations.
That's not what it is at all. It's just
I can tell you, but I'll be breaking the law doing it.
Well, no, I'll tell you what it is. It's the same thing as when a drug dealer who's caught with a bunch of cocaine says, "I plead the Fifth Amendment, I'll incriminate myself." It's the same fucking thing. In other words, he's admitting guilt, but he won't. It can't be held against him because he's pleading the Fifth. So, it's just a way out to not answer or give any real statements.
Well, that's where you guys have got something like the Whistleblowers Act, which nullifies any of this fucking "I'll incriminate myself" bullshit. Because under the Whistleblowers Act,
it used to. It doesn't
anymore. The Whistleblower Act does not. It doesn't. It can indemnify you from prosecution of something if you're blowing the whistle on other criminal activity. Yes, but that's not what this is. This is but that only applies to criminal activity in regards to very specific elements of releasing the information. For example, if you as a whistleblower took classified information to blow the whistle on a government program that's breaking the law, then the fact that you took that classified information to prove that they were breaking the law can be forgiven. Okay. But if in the process of doing that, you were helping them break the law, you could still be charged.
Well, no, and I would like to really quick just say, hello, Ben, the troll. I haven't seen you in a while. I want to remind our moderators that Ben can go ahead and copy and paste all he wants. I enjoy Ben's presence. Please enjoy. Hit the thumbs up or down. I don't care which, Ben. Have a good time. I did see. Oh, he's my favorite. I love.
You have a personal troll. Oh,
yeah, nice. It's Ben.
It's always good to have a pet.
It's always good to have a pet.
And don't forget to join us on the Aldrich Rants on Saturday your time, Sunday my time.
Yeah, Ben is. I really enjoy Ben. Yeah, he brought up spirit cooking as something completely fake, but it is kind of a thing, and it's really weird. I don't really want to dive down the spirit cooking rabbit hole.
Having a troll is like having an incontinent cat. It's, sort of...
Spirit cooking. Is spirit cooking something like a hot toddy when you put like a fucking sherry in a big bowl of water? Like
yeah, and then you sniff.
Yeah.
Take the vapors.
It's a pretty weird shit. Just take 10 seconds real quick to do another tab and Google it. It's a nice rabbit hole to jump down if you feel the need.
I'm still getting over the fact that Australia doesn't exist. So when I get through that, I'll go on to spirit cooking.
Well, you can't because it's not around Earth.
But then you gotta get over the fact that Hawaii doesn't have lava on it, and never did because tectonic plates don't exist.
That's right. Can't have those. That would make things too complicated.
But no, not only was Sherardi could say his name, I can't, but he grilled today.
General Zod.
In the
Zod.
Yeah, Zod.
We already agreed it's Zod.
Not only was Zod grilled today,
Strzok.
but you know, it's really shocking that a grown man would love a baseball team and he happens to have some money, so he uses his credit card. Was it a public credit card? That would be a problem. I don't believe judges get public credit cards necessarily, so
No,
I would tend to think it's his personal credit card, and he just likes the Nationals.
The problem wasn't that. The problem was he got the tickets, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't he get the tickets from the press?
Oh, it's a freebie, and he didn't declare it to the house, so that was undisclosed income or something. God,
Well, he doesn't have the authority. He doesn't have the authority to be talking to the press either. And so his claim of saying, I took no action whatsoever on my biases. Well, then why were you talking to the press?
Yeah, but he wasn't talking to the press. He just took some tickets off them and went to a ball game. I mean, it's hardly the same thing, is it?
Yeah, no. So just the press were just giving away, Nationals tickets. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they would do if they hope that. Yeah, but that's a great thing. If he actually took the tickets and didn't say shit to them, good on him. I mean, that would actually be a plus. They think they're going to get something out of you, and they don't.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
And you say nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying I really, really love the Dodgers. I would totally talk very, very favorably towards your publication if I was to get to, meet Clayton Kershaw and take my kids and wife to a Dodger game. That would be awesome. Yeah. My birthday's in November, by the way.
God, you are desperate, man. Seriously, stop begging. I mean, that's not it. That's worse than panhandling right now. Stop it. You're degrading yourself.
Well, it's no worse than Theresa May begging the EU for scraps. What the fuck is going on over there?
Oh, please, spare me.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Get rid of that cow.
You don't fuel the fire, man. Don't do that.
You see how I pivoted there? You saw that?
You did. I saw the bait and twist.
No, but speaking of the UK, what kind of big balloon did you guys get a permit to fly during? As the great leader of North Korea would say, His Excellency President Trump, when he comes to visit, Her Majesty. What kind of balloon is flying?
The Sadiq Khan one.
I have to say, well, yeah, but Sadiq Khan, there is a Sadiq Khan balloon that's been sponsored, and it's already been paid for. In fact, I think they got like 3 times more money within 24 hours. Yeah. The fucking Trump protesters managed to get in a month. It's quite pathetic. It really shows the differential in what's going on. But no, the whole Trump thing is an absolute fucking disgrace. And again, you can go back, and these are, I think, on the Ogre videos. When we went with Brexit, and Theresa May was saying that we need to branch out and, make deals with other countries and things. And she agreed to a state visit to Trump. And we were going to be the first country that he came to. And it didn't happen. Because of fucking Sadiq Khan and, because of these fucking Ramonas and things like that. So he's been to Germany and he's going to France and he goes to Sweden and Finland and everyone. We're the last ones now. I mean, we've made an absolute fucking disgrace of ourselves. And then they come up with this stupid balloon I mean, it's these people should be ashamed of themselves when they go to bed at night. You know, thinking that they're going to shame the leader of, you know, I mean, which is the world leader. Yeah, I mean, everyone has to admit that. And they're just acting like petulant children. It's pathetic. I feel really embarrassed on behalf of my country. And I think the majority, but then again, it is a very small minority that created this thing. Look how long it took them to even fund the fucking thing. You know, it's a very small sector.
Stupid balloon, a baby Trump again, aren't they playing?
It is, yeah.
Here's what's ironic about it, though, is that there's actually going to be like a women's march in London where we banging pots and pans. Yet they call Trump a toddler, but they're acting like fucking toddlers banging pots and pans. It's like the irony couldn't be any sweeter.
Honestly, it just makes you want to weep. It really does. It's. I mean,
well,
these people are fucking delusional.
Can you guys rally a free Tommy event at the same time and have the two converge?
Oh no, it's already organized, mate. It's happening on Saturday. I'm going down on it on Saturday. I'm going down to London.
Oh, I wish you had a cell phone, dude, with the so you could record everything.
He's not that far behind, man.
Oh no, I don't use smartphones or anything. I don't. I don't use any tracking devices. That's the thing. So no, I'm afraid I'm not a podcaster or anything like that. But no, I'll be there anyway.
Just take a video camera and then just upload the footage.
Yeah, I could do that. I don't have one, so I won't.
Next thing you know, you're going to say you don't have a television, you never watched it.
I don't have a television, I've got a monitor.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Geez, you must be a boring bastard.
I'm not. No, I can see everything on TV that I need to, but I don't. You know, I do through a computer and I use a monitor. That way, the BBC can't try to demand £10 a week out of me for the the license fee.
They do that to us out here. That's why I live stream everything from the BBC. I do it for a pirate it. Fuck them. They don't want to release it out here. They still want me to pay for it. They can get fucked.
Well, good for you, but I just don't bother fucking engaging with it. I mean, I rarely even go onto the BBC News website. It's just so fucking worthless. Anyone, I challenge you that. Go on the BBC News website and look at the fucking topics that they've selected. And they're all fucking identitarian horseshit. Ideological bollocks.
Yeah, the worst part about it is they're supposed to be biased.
Unbiased, not biased.
Yeah, non-biased. That's right. Yeah. I was trying to reverse psychology on them.
Well, you guys have other problems anyway. I mean, simply from the fact that it looks like Theresa May. Do you think she's going to last another week, 2 weeks?
Fuck no.
Oh, I've already said she'll be out by. I predicted this over 2 years ago. I said she'll be out by this time. If she went for the general election like she did, I said she'd be out by the time that this happened. And they're doing everything.
Okay, Cabby.
General election is just another stalling technique in order to ensure that we get the worst deal that we possibly can.
Yeah, but who's going to replace her? I mean, who are you looking at to actually replace her if you guys do trigger a new election?
Well, people are screaming for Jacob Rees-Mogg or Boris Johnson. I wouldn't want to see Boris Johnson because I think he's a clown. He's a good entertainer, and he's a turncoat. He was a Remainer.
Well, I think he left the cabinet on purpose to set up a run.
But Jacob Rees-Mogg doesn't want the job.
No, it claims he doesn't, but then again, you get an awful lot of modesty. The same thing, I mean, Hitler didn't, said he didn't want the chancellorship until he got it. Jacob Rees-Mogg, I've got a few questions about him, especially when it came to the what was it, the 50th anniversary of the Rivers of Blood speech. And and that was a speech which was made by Enoch Powell, which laid out that, we would see the conflicts and everything. I mean, the Rivers of Speech would perfectly describe things like 7/7, the Manchester bombings, all of these Muslim things. I mean, that's exactly what he was talking about. But he disowned it. So he's still a populist in that respect. So I got issues with him. And Boris Johnson is just a clown. So I don't think they have anyone to replace him. Well, we don't have any statesmen anymore. They're gone. You know, you ain't going to see a Winston Churchill I don't think in my lifetime.
Here's what passes for a news article about this kind of crap coming from our media. From Time Magazine. Should Trump hug Queen Elizabeth?
No, fuck no.
What the hell? That is where does anybody even think that Trump's going to come up and give freaking Queen Elizabeth a hug?
Yeah, that's not going to be allowed.
I think you should just go up and grab a pussy. No, I think you should do a pussy grab. Just for the shit. You know, I mean, that would be like the ultimate fucking. I mean, that would Pepe the fuck out of society, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
See, we actually did have
Queenie.
That. We actually did have that.
Take her over and French kiss her. You know, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, no. Like when the Queen visited Australia back about 20 years ago, our Prime Minister, Paul Keating at the time, put his arm around her, and he got in a fucking huge shit about that.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but then again, the same thing happened with Obama, right? With the, oh my God, you know, the contact, you're not meant to touch the monarch. I mean, it's just fucking nonsense. It really has worn out its use, the monarchy. And the thing is, I actually think it serves a purpose at the moment because there is a cohesion between the Commonwealth and things. But if they're willing to erode it and they're willing to throw away sovereignty, then they've eroded their own validity. They don't mean anything. You know, then it's going to have to be us working together without these, this apparent fucking figurehead that is a traitor. I mean, it's a traitor to itself. This is like it really is the worst.
It does still mean something to the rest of the Commonwealth. I mean, the Queen still has the power to remove our Prime Minister if they're fucking up, which she has done in the last 4 decades about 3 times. So we still have those protections. And there are still countries in the Commonwealth who are very stood-fast monarchists. And,
and this is the thing, that we should be, bolstering those. But it's the Queen who doesn't seem to want to establish them. Right? I mean, if she had any fucking spine, or I mean, if there was any integrity to the monarchy, then they would be doing everything to ensure that we get out of Europe and we reestablish our connections with the Commonwealth. I said this to a friend of mine that, when we're coming out of after the Article 50, right? Or before that, it's like, well, we're leaving the European Union. I would have expected the first things that would happen would be you'd have all the princes and everyone going off to different, Commonwealth countries and trying to, liaise. And they didn't do that.
Mm.
I mean, there's the laissez-faire attitude that the royal family has to the Commonwealth. They don't seem to give a shit. They really don't. They've already got their lands and stuff, and they seem to be quite happy to let everybody else just, go hang around them. There is no integrity.
Yeah, but hasn't the monarchy tried that before and it didn't end very well?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we're not going to behead them. I mean, they'll just become like redundant, like the Dutch royal family. But
you can confiscate their land and take their titles and just say we're not doing that anymore. We're a republic.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference because the Queen actually has lands that she owns herself, which has been purchased, of course, through taxpayers' money, and because she doesn't.
Exactly, which is why you could confiscate said land.
Yeah, but the crown land, there's a difference between crown land and sovereign land. The sovereign's own land, so you have to distinguish between the two. It's
crown land's government, sovereign land's the actual royals.
That's it. So.
See, we've got things like that out here on Crown land. The Rural Fire Service can't do hazard reductions, which means that every part of Crown land in New South Wales burns like crazy during the summertime. And it's just because of it's Crown land.
Mm-hmm.
Different rules.
How much land do they own in England itself? England, not necessarily Wales or Scotland, England.
Oh, well, if you're talking about the royal family and their personal assets. So, like I said, there's a difference between crown, and personal. They own, I would say, around. It's about 1/5, or maybe more than that. Maybe close to a quarter. Between 1/5 and a quarter of the actual land is under lease to people or to the government.
Wow, they own 1/5 of England, though. One family.
Oh yeah, well, no. If you look at it, they own about I mean, if you look around the world in terms of their personal assets, they are the single largest landowners, apart from, I think, the Catholic Church. I think the Catholic Church is one up on the royal family. But yeah, they are the second largest landowner on the planet. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Well, okay, so since that conversation's dying down a little bit, MC, so President Trump, excuse me, came out and said, hey, the European powers have agreed to pay their fair share in NATO. Well, macadamia nut, macaron, macaroni, however you want to say it.
Yeah, not macaron, macaroon. Yeah,
whatever you want to call this idiot, it went like, actually, we piss on your name, you filthy American, and we won't pay you shit. Now, please keep NATO here, as they puffed on their fucking cigarette.
Well, I mean, not exactly what he said. What he said is that they didn't agree to newer levels. That's all he said.
I think America's got every right.
He basically parsed what he was said. He wasn't saying they wouldn't pay more or they're not going to pay more. What he said is that they didn't agree to new levels against the GDP.
You know, MC, I'm surprised.
How can they agree with that, though? They don't even meet the 2%.
MC.
How can they agree with raising it? I mean, how are they ever going to even meet 2%? Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, but I was going to say, MC, I'm surprised that they didn't just say, well, we're not going to pay any more until you pay, you paid your dues.
Oh, I think that in the back door, what you saw him probably do was he leveled. His big thing wasn't so much against France or against NATO per se. His big thing was he was going after his whole intent was to go after Germany, and he was very successful.
Oh yeah, right? Well yeah, because they failed significantly to do that, and this is the one thing that really worries me is that France, and Germany and all of the Belgium. I mean, for what they're worth, I mean. I don't know what you would get if you added up all of the European armies. Most of them go home at weekends. But I mean, in terms of, fighting force, I mean, Germany one thing it gets is nuclear weapons out of the integration process. And people forget that. I don't understand why people don't understand this real crucial element. Germany was never allowed nuclear weapons. They were denied it. If you go under a European force and, all the weapons get combined, then that means that Germany, effectively has nuclear weapons, which is, I mean, they couldn't do them directly, so they got them inadvertently. Sort of like after the Versailles Treaty, they, managed to violate that. So, I mean, these are not trustworthy people. We know that. And anyway, all you got to do is look into the dark, fucking malevolent eyes of, of Merkel, and she is not somebody who's looking for peace or whatever. I mean, didn't she used to work for like the fucking KGB or something?
Yeah, she was East German.
Yeah, I mean, she's a nasty piece of work, that woman. People don't seem to remember her history, where she came from. She is really malevolent. She is a nasty piece of work.
Another thing a lot of people need to realise about NATO is that a lot of the European NATO countries are actually the places that we get most of our technologically advanced weapons from, like Rheinmetall, Heckler and Koch, and all those kinds of companies. They're all European. Fucking, we're getting the weapons off them to protect them.
Yeah.
So if they get the weapons, why can't they use them?
You do not want to leave them in control.
One of the things Trump did do is Trump basically did put a threat in there, which basically said we would start to withdraw our forces from Europe.
Yeah, but the thing is, why doesn't America just say we're not adding anything into it until you've all paid your dues?
Because we're already there. That's the thing. Our troops are already there.
Yeah, ultimately Trump's trying to pull all the troops out from all the outlying places so as he can look after his own backyard, which is pretty much what the world's been telling America to do.
Move them over here, please. Because we're going to need you, and preferably we don't need a 3-year delay. Right? If you're already here, then you'd have no excuses to actually get engaged.
But I can see the economical side of this too. I mean, like it costs a shit ton of money for the Yanks to be anywhere.
Cabbage. I hear your commentary, and I keep coming back to these things that you guys have done to us. All right, like I don't know, giving the frickin' Russians the keys to jet engines. All right, off of a billiard. After losing billiards.
Oh, you kidding me? No, we already gave the jet technology to America. It went on.
You gave it to the Russians. You gave it to the Soviets.
No, we gave it to the
MiG-15s.
No, we gave you jet and we gave you radio.
I'm not worried about what you gave America. I'm worried about what you gave to our enemies.
Yes, but it was billions, damn it.
They were centripetal flow engines. They were the not technologically advanced ones. The Yanks got the axial flow engines. The Russians got the centripetal flow ones. So it wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
Is that why the MiGs ended up really competing with the F-14?
That was because the Yanks. That's because the Yanks decided to make big technologically advanced aircraft. The Russians make them all nice and cheap and small.
No,
at the time period of the 1950s, it allowed them to create the MiG-15s, which were then used to shoot down American planes and British planes during the Korean War.
Well, and one of the reasons that there was a problem with the American planes was nothing to do with the engines. It was because they didn't.
It's not bad. It has to do with
because they didn't put machine guns on them. They were trying to use
planes.
No, they weren't doing dogfighting. So, they didn't put the machine guns.
When the MiG-15s attacked,
they were hoping for missiles.
The United States hadn't deployed the F-86 Sabres.
It had nothing to do with the engines.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
The Russians wouldn't have had the jet if you wouldn't have given it to them.
Well, yeah, and
what do you mean? No, bullshit. They already had the jet engine anyway because they'd taken it from Germany. I mean, it came from the Messerschmitt. No, they already knew about the Messerschmitt.
They didn't know how to prevent it from lighting on fire and the higher speeds that the MiG-15 could obtain. You guys, and you gave it to them because the guy said, "Well, if I win this game of billiards, you give me the jet engine." Well, and you guys agreed to that. Now, why the hell would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the drunk, bunch of drunk military people. I mean, they're crazy. I mean, at least respect. They stood by the deal.
They did.
I also point out that during the beginning of the Korean War, the Yanks also were the ones that fielded shitty aircraft like P-51 Mustangs and F-84 Thunderjets and all this kind of shit, which wouldn't have stood up to the MiGs as well.
Did you just say the Mustang was shit?
It was when you put it up against jets. When you put it up against jets,
the Phantom. Yeah, the Phantom was a total waste of time.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
the it didn't have any air-to-air capacity apart from missiles.
The F-4s didn't come out till later. We were talking about the Korean War, which the F-80...
the Phantom was Vietnam.
The Sabres, when we came out, we had to rush the Sabres in when the MiGs came across.
Now, look, we had the Lightning, right? You can claim that you broke the sound barrier, but in actual fact, it had already been broken anyway by the Spitfire. But it was done in a vertical dive.
P-47 pilots could have done that too.
Well, exactly. And what happened to them? They hit the ground at high speed.
I still have,
but they still achieved it, man. They still made the grade.
Some of them survive, and that's how they figured out the whole part about the flying tail business.
Hey, this is an important question. If you guys gave them fucking jet engines, what were you gonna win?
Hey, Corona,
No, but here's the thing you're not understanding is that we gave them the earlier version of jet engines, right?
I don't care. I'm asking what were they gonna give you if you won?
Oh, I don't know. Well, what was the other side of the deal on that billiard game?
Yeah, there had to be something else.
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, yeah, you see, so you're making this shit up as you go along.
I'm not making it up.
Yes, it is.
All right, that's it. Mm-hmm. Time to look for it.
Well, if you cared about it, then you would know it. So you obviously don't care.
But in any case, with the MiG-15, it doesn't really matter because they had bigger and less turning in planes fucking down MiG-15s because of pilot training. So it doesn't matter what kind of plane you got. If the pilot can't fucking fly, it's useless.
That's true.
Well, that's why the F-14 actually started to take hold eventually. But the MiG was kind of superior in a lot of elements. I think the F-14 had a higher altitude, I believe, but it had a slower cruising rate.
Just a quick question:
why better radar and all that? But
why are you mentioning the F-14? That's not the right plane, I'm thinking.
Okay, well,
because the Tomcat will outclass an F-16, an MiG-15 any day of the week.
Yeah, but the Eagle was, I mean, that was a pig to begin with. I mean, it was unreliable. It required so much fucking maintenance. I mean, most of those early, you know, most of the original jets, they spent more time in maintenance than they ever did in the air.
I reckon they should just get rid of all the fighter planes and just have A-10s.
just tank busters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hogs.
So what was the next thing you wanted to talk about? Why look for this, Mad Dodge?
Okay, you guys are right when it comes to the plane. I just Googled it. It was first introduced September 14th, 1974. So you're right. Correct. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, damn right the MiG schooled the American aircraft then. Fuck you and your billiards game. How about you learn how to play pool? It wasn't even 8-ball, right? Like, what the fuck?
Well, it's billiards. It's the table equivalent of cricket.
It's got a bigger table.
Yeah, 12 foot by 6 foot. It's a big table.
It's
your little pool tables, and plus it has actual pocket sizes that require some skill as opposed to buckets.
Yeah, skill you didn't have, obviously. Not you personally. But
well, I mean, well, maybe not in billiards, but anyway, we could still shoot down their shit because we gave them second-rate technology, and we gave you the first-rate technology. I mean, this is the thing I don't understand. Yeah, we gave you everything. Yeah, there was a particular taxi that ended up going to, I think it was Paddington Station or something, and it had all of Britain's like most significant secrets, you know, in this chest, and it went on the top of a taxi, and it got shipped over to America, you know, at the time. Because that was part of the deal, you know, that we were doing, was that we would disclose all of our actual highest technology, which included radar and, you know, all of the different explosives and materials that we were utilizing. You know, I mean, every new development in science and technology that we had went over there. And you got it for free, including things like, you know, the stuff that was being worked on by Alan Turing and things, you know, with the first computers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, that's another thing.
We gave you everything for fucking nothing.
You cunts got the computers and you made Alan Turing fucking destroy his one and fucking have to keep it a fucking secret. And he didn't even get the recognition for it, thanks to you Yanks. So there.
Yeah, but the thing is...
That has nothing to do with giving us or us sharing data back and forth, because we gave you, you know, it has to do with why do you give your enemies weapon systems to use against you?
They weren't enemies at the time, son.
There's a good reason why you do that, because if you give them weapon systems that you know, then you know how to defeat them. That's a very good way of ensuring that you can take them down, right?
Yeah, that's why we train the Indonesians.
Exactly. You see, you give them the technology that you can defeat. That's the way that you work sensibly.
No, but
anyway, the Alan Turing thing is an absolute fucking disgrace, because not only that, I mean, you remember, he ended up getting chemically castrated. And I'm not a fucking, you know, LGBT bullshit person or whatever. The guy was gay. He was gay, but he ended up getting fucking chemically castrated for his homosexuality. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's just fucking disgusting.
And they pretty much forced him to suicide too.
Oh no, he did. Yeah, well, he ended up killing himself. So I mean, yeah, and a person who, you know, cracked the Enigma code and they drove him to suicide. I think that's fucking disgraceful.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, but that's not about LGB. That's just, you know, let people be who they fucking are, you know, get along.
Well, individual liberty. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
He saved Britain. He can fuck whoever one he wants.
MC had asked me one of their stories I want to talk about. Well, most of this show is going to be a free-for-all tonight, but there is one more thing. The North Korean chairman, fucking Kim Jong-un, sent President Trump, His Excellency, a nice letter. What do you think about that? Is that just for show, or are we making real progress?
I think you're making progress.
Well, any kind of show is going to be progress, right? Because they're obviously doing it because they want some, you know, light shined on them. So it's got to be progress, or at least it could be used to create progress. I mean, itself isn't progress, but you know, it's how it's manipulated.
Well, there's only one real way that Un can fucking survive as a dictator for any appreciable amount of time, and that is to improve the conditions in his country. And the only realistic way of doing that is to unify the country in some form or fashion, because China's not going to fucking do everything for him anymore. Neither is Russia, and the pressure is just simply building from the rest of the world. So he's got no real options. He's either going to die or conform.
Yeah, but the problem is, if he actually shows his people actually how the rest of the world is, you know,
that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
they already know, though.
Well, no, they don't really. Not the majority. I mean, there's a few that do. You know, the ones in the upper echelons. But,
oh no, there's a hell of a lot of civilians that know. There's way more than what they're trying to let out. You just look at how many defect in a year and all this kind of stuff. They're just too scared.
I think the culture shock will be quite significant.
Oh yeah. Well, I can even if it does get unified, and then all this, the rest of the, like, they find out what the rest of the world is like, there will be an uprising just out of just initial anger and frustration of like, you fucking did this to us all this time, you fucking bastard, and it'll die down.
That's what I mean. You see, yeah, but that's the problem, and that's what he's worried about, right? Because he knows that he's going to be the one that they take out, right? Because he's the one that's denied them awareness of this, or you know. So when that does come down, I mean, he's dead.
Yeah, you know, if he plays nice and he gets on the good side with the West, he might be able to exile. Maybe.
Yeah, he's going to have to exile, but he can't stay in place. There's no way he could stay there and expect that his people aren't going to lynch him.
Well, no, the thing is, though, also, even though he's playing nice with the West, at the same time, he's doing a purge within his own government. And to me, that's not a purge like usual. I think it's a purge of the anti-West faction of his government.
Yes.
I think he's setting up integration, I believe.
Well, this is the situation when he first got in, right? Basically the government and the military were basically saying, if he does turn to the West, we're going to fucking overthrow him. And the Chinese had already said at that point, if he gets overthrown, China was going to invade just to secure all of North Korea's heavy weapons. And that's the reason why that didn't actually happen.
Yeah, but didn't Korea claim that they had nuclear weapons in, you know, canyons and places where they thought I mean, if China were to come in or whatever, then they would utilize. I mean, they couldn't launch missiles, but you know, they still had the ability to make bombs, so they could bury them or whatever.
Yeah, but he might have had a couple, but fucking as for saying he's got like them dotted all over the country, no, that's a fallacy.
Well, no, but I don't think he had them dotted all over the country. I thought he had them in strategic places where, you know, China, you know, throttle points where China would have to go through or whatever. I mean, nobody knows, right? Pure speculation.
Well, even down to the actual size of his weapons, the ones that he detonates, he always overstates how big they are, and we can tell just by seismic activity and all this kind of stuff. So whether he's got 1,000 of them, they could all be like, you know, the smallest nuclear bomb you could make.
Well, actually, one of the biggest seismic events was when he blew up his own scientific development, you know, the plant.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big seismic event. He blew up his own development capacity.
Yeah, but if I make a small nuclear bomb, isn't that still a nuclear bomb?
Yeah,
and matter of fact, I mean, isn't miniaturizing them a step of progress, actually? Because we just now have the process to have backpack nukes, maybe. I don't know how big they really are.
It's sort of kind of yes and no. Typically when people would start building nuclear weapons, they build really small yield but really huge devices, and then they start to miniaturize them. And as they miniaturize them, they work out how to make a bigger bang out of them. So yeah, he probably has some. Yeah, he's got some stupid huge devices, but they're just ridiculously little small power. You can get small types of nukes. In fact, there's two different types that I can mention off the top of my head. There's the Genie, and then there's the Little John, and they're both tactical nuclear weapons. The Genie was designed to be fired into groups of bombers in midair and just vaporize them in air. And the Little John was what's a tactical nuclear weapon that was designed to be used on the battlefield, intended for hordes of Russian tanks coming across Eastern Europe. And they were designed to be used like only a couple of Ks in front of your own troops.
And they were like airburst ones as well, weren't they? So
yeah, they were smaller than the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs.
Well, I think they were like 1 kiloton or something. They were like less than 10 kilotons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're only designed for small, localized use, not like nuking cities or shit like that. So yeah, he could have those kinds of things, like a tactical style nuclear weapon where it's a very, very small yield and won't do much damage. But yeah, to say that he's got stuff that he can stick on missiles is an absolute fallacy too.
What happens if, real quick,
his missiles don't work. His missiles don't work. We already know that. So I mean, it doesn't matter what his bombs are. If he can't deliver them, then really they become, irrelevant anyway. But he can use them on his own borders.
And there's many a slip between a cup and a lip. He might be able to get a bomb in through a freight ship, through any certain way. But no, here's the real question: if he makes nice and comes into the fold, and then a year or two down the road, it comes out that Iran has his exact technology because he sold it to him. He dumped it right before he joined South Korea and started to head west.
If you're worried about if you're worried about nuclear weapons, you need to be far more concerned about Pakistan's nuclear weapons than you need to be about Korea's. North Korea is nothing compared to Pakistan.
Yeah, they're an Islamic fundamentalist country.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the materials and they actually have the capacity to do these things. They do have them, the material and the technological capacity to do. I mean, they've tested them. They actually have.
They do have. Much of the processing had to be done.
You'd be far more worried about Pakistan than North Korea. Seriously. It just seems like a joke when people.
Well, when it comes to Pakistan, I see India as the balancer. It's almost like a teeter-totter, and they're balancing each other out, in my opinion, at this point. That could erupt. That could erupt.
It already has.
You're right.
It already has. There's lots of skirmishes between Indian and Pakistani forces. I've been getting lots of feeds on Facebook about this from the Indian side of things, and there is border conflicts that have been going on for decades between Pakistan and India. They used to only be artillery duels, but now they're actually starting to shoot each other.
Yeah, they do have problems ever since East Pakistan separated and became Bangladesh/Myanmar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a great British.
Shouldn't that have created a buffer zone?
No,
that's not in between. You're right. I'm thinking of the map wrong. My apologies.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. It was one of the when Great Britain left, they created a weird segment where India was in between two sections of what was called Pakistan. You had Pakistan and then East Pakistan.
Name that.
The Peshawar region.
No, I mean, but it's the same thing that we've always done. Is divide and conquer. I mean, that's how you ended up with Northern Ireland, and Southern Ireland. I mean,
and Iraq and Iran and Israel, Palestine, Lebanon,
Kurdistan, things like that. Yeah, it's always disastrous. It never works. I mean, Jerusalem. There's a perfect example. Israel. Yeah. So I mean, the whole it works. It depends what you want to think of as working. But yeah, I'd be far more concerned about Pakistan's nuclear weapons than I ever would be about Kim Jong-un and his machinations. Because I mean, the guy is not suicidal. I mean, he's a narcissist and he's, a nihilist or whatever. But I don't think he's suicidal. But the Pakistani people, they believe in the fucking, once you get to the religious stuff, then it gets weird. you know, and then you really don't know what these fuckers might actually do if they really believe in their religion, you know, their fundamentalism. That's, you know, that's the reason that you don't want Iran with nuclear weapons, right? Because they want to bring about the, you know, the revelations of, I don't know, the, you know, the Torah.
The 12th Imam.
Yeah, you know, they want to, you know, rebuild the
usher in
the
12th Imam, who's supposed to be the prophet, who's supposed to come back and bring in Armageddon.
Exactly. You know, like the people who want the, you know, the God, what, you know, the people who think that you're all going to get sent up into heaven on the day of God, what do they call it? It begins with R.
Rapture.
Rapture. Thank you. Yes, the rapture. You know, I mean, you've always got these lunatics, and that's the problem. I mean, at least if you're dealing with, you know, cogent people, you know, like logical and rational people. But once you bring religion into it, it all goes a totally different way. And the thing is, Kim Jong-un doesn't have a religion, right? Whereas
they do. They have a religion of the state.
It's purely religion.
Well, yeah, no, they worship the state. That is their religion. It's like the Roman imperial cult. But the thing is, when it comes to Iran,
but it's not the
majority of its citizens. Have you seen what's going on in Iran and the women that are protesting? They're getting beat and tortured for dancing, for God's sake. But they're still out there dancing. They're still... The young people in Iran want modernization.
Yes, they do.
The change is
Iran, because you know,
it'll come internally.
Under the Shah of Iran, it was you know, in the 1970s. You go back, and people were in miniskirts, and you know, they were effectively the equivalent of anyone in Europe. You know, I mean,
exactly.
And in the meantime, what happened a few years ago when they had a big referendum, they had big protests in Iran. It was a whole bunch of the young people who had now outnumbered the old hardline fundamentalists who had been overseas and had the Maccas and the MTV and all this shit, and they didn't see anything wrong with it. And then they're saying, no, we want this Sharia shit to end. We would like our fucking, and we definitely don't want to piss the Yanks off because we've seen what they did to Iraq, and we've got it nice here at the moment. So yeah, the Shah relented and put in a reformist. Years ago, so he's on his way out.
No, the Shah of Iran is long gone. I mean, you know, it was Ayatollah Khomeini who, you know, ended up taking his place. I mean, that's the reason that Iran's in the shithole that it is. I mean, that happened back in the 70s. It was, you know, it's when they went from being a Western kind of style thing. It was the same thing with Egypt, though. You know, Egypt and Turkey were pretty, you know, kind of. I mean, it's not Westernized because that kind of got a bad connotation to it, but you know, they were free. You know, they were independent, and people could actually express themselves, and they weren't held by religion. You know, but the religious fundamentalists is where the problem lies, and that's why I say Pakistan is a much bigger fucking problem. But Iran's in terms of its nuclear capacity than anything to do with, you know, North Korea. North Korea is a piss in the ocean compared to the potential risk and the threat of Pakistan. Yeah, the difference though, anyone wouldn't think that otherwise.
The difference though is Iran is trying to breed the fundamentalists out, whereas the other countries are just letting them stay. They are. Trust me, they are. They're just still too young to actually make a difference yet.
I'll take your word for it. I can't say I've seen any evidence of it. But...
Well, if they weren't, we would already be at war with them.
No, I don't think so. I just don't think that they're stupid enough to, you know, to make it an issue. If that was going to happen, it would have happened during the Iraq invasion.
Well,
you know,
no,
Obama was trying.
This could turn really quick into a hot zone simply because of what's going on in Yemen and the amount of support that Iran is funneling across the border, and the fact that Saudi Arabia, if we get dragged into it, meaning the West, it's going to be through Saudi Arabia.
But Saudi Arabia is always going to. I mean, this is the weird thing, right? I mean, it is the most totalitarian regime ever. I mean, you got the
women can drive.
No, but only with a man in the car.
They're allowed, but can they?
Yeah, exactly. Can they parallel park? I doubt it. No women can parallel park, whether you're an Islamic or not. God's not going to help you on that one. That's called spatial awareness. Saudi Arabia, Wahhabism. I mean, it's. I mean, again. I mean, that's again the hotbed. Like I said, when you're looking at these problems internationally, you've got to look at the religion, and because the West is too busy with cultural, right? And the Eastern and the Middle Eastern sides are working on their religious base. So we're working cultural, with our social studies and all the other fucking bollocks, but they're still entrenched in their religions, and there's no way of avoiding that. I mean, it's just reality. Anyone who pretends that it's otherwise is just deluding themselves. You can be as nice to these people as you like, but if it violates their religion, some kind of tenet that they find in whatever article of faith, then they're never going to accept it. It's it will always be contrary.
That's the benefit of the young people, though, in Iran. Most of them aren't that religious. That's the fundamental point that's different with them. Most of them aren't that religious. Most of them drink and smoke and all this kind of stuff, but in public they're like, no, we don't do that shit, because they don't want to get into trouble. But fucking that's most of the reason why they do leave the country and go and study in fucking England and America and all that kind of stuff. So they can do that shit.
I know. I was saying earlier on, I went over to Iraq, prior to the first Desert Storm. And I went there because I had friends. I was at school with some friends, and so we did like a holiday, and went over there, and it was fantastic.
Wait a minute. No, you went on holiday in Baghdad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Baghdad. I went to Fallujah. I went up into what's the northern provinces. I went and there was no problem. And the father, he had his own. He had his bar. I was telling MC, I mean, they had, what was the fucking drink? Johnny Walker.
Yep.
And they used to bring that in on fucking camels and stuff. Yeah, like, I'm not kidding you. It was bizarre.
Yeah, I remember seeing on Live Leak when they had the surge in Iraq. There were fucking fundies, raiding, local stores and stuff like that, ripping all the smokes and booze out of the place and, piling them up and burning them and all this kind of shit. And, there were people saying, hang on, they're not allowed to drink over there. It's like, yeah, don't believe everything you read on the news.
Exactly. I mean, you could drink. I mean, the thing is, you didn't do it in public, and you didn't make an arse of yourself, and that was major. The main point is
that's also for Saudi Arabia too. Like, you can drink in pubs and clubs. They've got clubs in hotels and all this kind of stuff.
Same thing in Dubai, right? Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, all of those regions. You can, you just have to do it. And the thing is, if you act badly because of it, then you're going to get, fucked up, and that's fair enough.
By the way, for his daughter's honeymoon, Cabbage Patch is going to do a destination wedding to Pablo Escobar's grave over in Colombia. Gotta keep it edgy, otherwise people fall asleep.
Do I get invited to that? I want my invite.
Oh. Mate, you are intrinsically invited. It doesn't matter. It's
I was wondering who the new person was, because I don't recognize the name, but it's bold like a leopard. How are you doing, man?
Feeling great. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good. I missed yesterday's show. I had a test and everything to do, so we're doing the Redeye tonight. Anything you want to bring up and talk about?
Well, what I wanted to comment a little on the Peter Strzok hearing, and as somebody, I didn't watch it at work. I had to listen to it without the video up, and then I went back and saw Mark Dice's upload after work, and the expression on Peter Strzok's face says it all. Basically, this man has disgraced the honored noble memories of, Agents Mulder and Scully. It's unbelievable, man. They have to. And I said in my video, they have to fucking put him in prison for the rest of his life under the fucking ocean, where the Malaysia Airlines flight is, or something, because it's not an issue of ethics. It's not an issue of crime. it's an issue that the guy is like an idiot. I mean, doing all that stuff on an FBI phone, and then claiming, "Oh, I can separate my private life." It's like, fuck you. Anyone of us would have been fired for that. What's that?
But you said it is, yeah, but you said it's Mulder and Scully, right? So I want to believe.
Oh, yeah.
But wasn't Scully a skeptic?
Well, and weirdly enough, she was always a skeptic until the point at which where something actually happened.
Scully wanted to believe at the end because of what happened to her.
Schizophrenic.
But
schizophrenic.
Stockholm.
Anyway, she was ginger. She's got no home. She's got no soul. So, you know, who gives a shit what a ginger thinks?
I'd still fuck her.
Oh, I'd do it.
Yeah, she's a pom.
I would. Yeah, I'd go for it.
Yeah, you know she's a pom.
I thought she was originally pom. Didn't she move to Canada?
Yeah, she was born in England and moved to Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, but she's still ginger. Doesn't matter where she is. Still ginger.
A ginger.
What is the problem with my hair color?
Oh, you know Pauline Hanson, right? Is the red-headed senator in Australia, Pauline Hanson, the real bloody racist Sheila? Yeah, she's got red hair. She's not a natural redhead, you know, and she even dyes her pubes. She's actually got black hair. The reason why she dyes her pubes is because she doesn't like them black cunts.
Oh, she got blonde ones. She bleached them.
What happened to that Jackie Lambie girl? She was like a real spark plug there. Didn't she have some sort of like there was some sort of radio interview where she said she wanted a dude with like she was already a senator. She's like she wants a dude with like a cock the size of a fire hose or something.
Yeah, she kind of lost the plot and fell out of public thing. She came in thinking, I was an army reservist and I was a corporal. I can run the country. Yeah, shut up. Don't make us look stupid.
She sounded like she was like the Sarah Palin of Australia or something.
Pretty much, yeah. She does come from Tasmania, which is our far-flung, you know, inbred cousin kind of place. Yeah.
Could she see Russia from her front porch?
I can see Australia from my backyard.
No, she can see Russia's Antarctic territory from her back porch.
Fucking delusional. We had a weird conversation last night with that guy. You know, he didn't know where fucking Alaska was. Who the fuck was there? That was so weird.
I don't know. I wasn't around. What's going on?
You were.
I want to ask you, have you guys been seeing more and more of these notices of these people trying to make pedophilia a recognized sexuality or something? Because I've been seeing
bloody Lindsay Amer. Lindsay fucking Amer.
And what's that? Who's that kind of Chinese-y looking Korean guy? You know, the one who did the interview.
Amos Yee?
Yeah, him. That fucking freak. Yeah, I mean that's a dangerous individual.
So I want to ask you guys, with pedophilia becoming more accepted, does that make you guys more pro-choice?
No, it just makes me want to punch him in the head harder.
That was a trick question.
It just makes me more horny. Makes me more horny.
It makes me glad that
that's so long. Now I want to punch you in the head.
Sorry, was that too dark?
No, not you.
I got it horny. I love you a long time.
Oh, you're too big. Too boom boom.
$1 double price.
You know, I'm really glad that I'm wearing headphones because my daughter only heard what I said, not what you said.
$2 boom boom. Boom boom ching ching. Oh, too cool.
Well, no, but isn't that a way to further degrade the society so you can necessarily take control later? Because
which one, the abortion or the pedophilia, or both?
Both.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it's like they're coming from both sides. It's like messed up.
Oh, Maddox, I don't understand what you're saying. Well, I mean, what society? There doesn't really see any. I don't see any massive cohesion within what's happening. I mean, people are breaking apart, you know, left, right, and center. You see, society's breaking. I mean, there's very little community. There's very little society. Local businesses are disappearing. You know, it's a very different framework than it was back in the, you know, even going back to the 80s. So, I mean, by what, you know, metric are you going to measure this shit by?
Yeah, but if you degrade society's moral values and then later on down the road society starts to implode, you can then be an authoritarian and say, I need to impose my moral values, because you're obviously an immoral, degraded society that needs a strong leader, correct?
Well, or is it just part of the you know, the bread and circuses in order to keep the people from rebelling? You know, like, well, you can do everything that you need, right? I mean, everyone can get drunk and everyone can fornicate and everything. It's like, well, okay, they can do all of these things. It's like, oh no, now let you fuck the children. You know, now we'll make it legal so you can, you know, you can. I mean, the total hedonism, like Caligula or something. Well, I mean, it's bound to be, you know. I mean, hedonism is going to lead to self-destruction. I mean, it will implode any social construct.
Well, no, and if you look at a lot of historians' views on the Roman society, the moral degradation of the society really led towards the fall of it on a whole.
Of course it did.
Its own people no longer served in the military. Its own people were just overcome by the need for bread and circuses and the free handouts. And when it didn't get their way, they would riot and burn shit to the ground. When the army didn't get its way, it would rebel against the leader, overthrow him, and bring their own general in.
But don't forget but Rome didn't get taken down by itself. It got taken down by the Visigoths who came from Germany, right? Fucking Nazis again, you see. You can't get rid of them. These fuckers have been around for a long time. They're persistent, right? So it's the Visigoths who came down from, you know, the Dark Forest, you know, out of the German hinterlands.
I beg to differ. I believe when the Romans really sealed their death note, it was because they had let the Germanic peoples that they had once conquered not integrate in society.
No, that's the thing. They never,
and then they gave them the control of the army.
That's the point. The Romans never conquered Germany. They had major problems going, especially with the.
They lost an entire legion there.
Well, yeah, the one legion got totally wiped out. That's true.
Usually Juventus takes down Roma. Soccer joke, anybody?
No. Go take your one ball and fuck off.
World Cup.
Sorry? They lost what? I mean, the Visigoths came down, but the German region, or what you would call the well, you know, the Saxon region, never got conquered by Rome. Never. At no point. They could only go so far, and they were always held back because of the Black Forest.
And even too, the Romans actually went and took on a German buddy peasant that they'd picked up in a raid somewhere, and he ended up being one of their decent fucking generals that ended up taking a legion and fucking turning on them. Fucking end up killing his own legion.
That was what was his name? Vesuvius or something. Yeah, he was.
Cabbage. I think you mean the Colored Forest.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
If you want us to call it the African American forest, you're going to have to come here and fucking make us.
The politically correct forest?
The African American forest. That's what they're trying to fucking do here too.
How about that? The progressive forest.
Yeah, that's what the fucking retards are trying to do here too. They're trying to fucking say that we shouldn't call the blackfellas out here. They've got to be Aboriginals or Kooris or Indigenous Australians. But what about the Africans who have only just got here? No, they're African Australians. No, they're fucking whatever the fuck country they came from. They're from Chad, they're Sudanese, they're fucking Ceylons, they're fucking South Africans. They're not fucking one denomination. They're definitely not fucking us.
I just want to say that black forests matter.
Okay. All jokes aside, though, I mean, really, I believe Rome sealed its own fate. So, it kind of seems like other societies are looking like they're going to do the same.
I personally believe that their downfall started when they adopted Christianity.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, I mean, I agree that the Roman society had, you know, kind of gone corrupt prior to it, which allowed for the, you know, the uprising of forces. You know, that they weren't seen as indomitable anymore. I mean, and also the thing was, a lot of different nations had also started to understand the Roman techniques, and so they found different ways to counter the effect of the, you know, their strategies. You know, Hannibal had a good fucking crack at it. So, you know, they weren't seen in the same light. You know, their military techniques were adapted and adopted by other countries. And also they just they overextended their supply lines and everything else. So, you know, and they didn't have the will of the people on their side. That's what empires need. You've got to have the will of the people on your side. Otherwise, you're never going to maintain any kind of control base. The people have to think that there's something beneficial to having you, you know, dictate to them as opposed to somebody else. Which is why it's amazing that Britain did it for so long. Because we had absolutely fuck all to, you know, in common with the people that we were running.
Well,
I mean,
no, you brought...
was a British guy, an 18th century British guy got in common with, you know, some dude in the Congo. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, you just brought up Britain. What does a common person, working man in Britain, have anything in common with the elite at this point, especially when you don't even get the proper news? I mean, what's gonna... Once again, I'm gonna ask the same question I've been asking you forever until you go all fucking Guy Fawkes. What's it gonna take?
I don't go Guy Fawkes. You're the one who keeps promoting Guy Fawkes. No, I'm saying that. No, I mean, people don't have. I mean, the average working soldier. In fact, it was. God, it's one of my favorite films is you know, The Man Who Would Be King. You know, it's absolutely fabulous. If you haven't seen it, you really need to watch it. And it is about, you know, it's exactly that question, right? I mean, these are soldiers who have been doing their duty, and, you know, they've created wealth for other people, and they're meant, you know, and they're meant to get dressed down by some bureaucrat or whatever, you know, and they go off and they say, fuck this, you know, if we can't, I'd rather be, I suppose it's like that kind of thing, you know, better to rule in hell than to, you know, to serve in heaven or whatever. I think that was the thing that Rudyard Kipling was doing. But I mean, if you watch that or you read the book, I mean, it's a really good story, and it's exactly the point that you're saying. And there is no connection, never has been. When you look at the people who, you know, created the British Empire, you know, the average guy who was working on the ships in the East India Company, it was hideous life. You know, look at most of the life of, even in the 1950s, of kids working on looms, losing fingers and things like that. Well, yeah, the workhouses. Look at, I mean, Charles Darwin fucking wrote about them. You know, I mean, Charles Darwin, you know, Dickens. It's the quintessential fucking story of, you know, indentured servitude. So yeah, I mean, but the thing is that people do it not because they want to do it, because I mean, what other fucking choice have they got to? It's either this or nothing. Do I take the king's shilling, or do I, you know, starve to death? That's how it works, right? Do you want to fill your belly, or do you want to starve and die? I mean, are you suicidal, or do you have some sense of survival? Now, you may have aspirations as to what you prefer to happen, but when they push you to these limits, then what do you expect? And this is exactly how populations are controlled, is by putting people into a position where the government can dictate the terms. And that's what makes it so concerning about the way that governments and, the authoritarianism is being, is coming into play. And, corporatism, that you don't have the dynamic economies that used to exist, where you could move from job to job, and there was some opportunities. You don't have that anymore. Everything you go into, you got to have a CBT check, and you got to have this, and you got to have that, and you got to have your special certificate. You got to, I mean, everything is being certified. It doesn't provide for any dynamism of an economy, does it? This is authoritarian oversight and control. It's very different than, what existed back then. Very different.
I'm gonna be like, I fell a little bit off, but it's because it's quite later. But I started wondering, like, if none of us ever were to respond, how long you would go on.
Huh? That's a very good question. I don't know.
Because from time to time,
hey, well, shall we try it? Shall we try it?
Like from
shall we
time,
try it and see what happens?
Time you stopped up, and it almost seemed like you were waiting for some of us to respond, and nobody did, so we just went on. So...
No, I was just following a train of thought, but it would have been nice if somebody had actually had something to contribute. Are you saying you don't have anything?
The only
no, I thought what Cabbage Patch said was very deep, and it reminded me of this program I used to watch where the people were so poor, they lived without shirts, their skin had turned blue, and they were running around from this guy with a big cat that was forcing them to eat mushrooms and live with the old man, and they had only one woman on the show. It was just amazing.
The Walking Dead?
No, I think here I'll pull up an image of this group of people.
Smurfs.
Damn it! I was gonna pull up a graphic.
La 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 la.
Why not do the Wombos? Need Wombos.
The Wombos of Wimbledon,
come on, we? Yay!
Oh, what was it? Nick Clegg, when he first got onto Twitter or something like that, fucking, he put out a message, and the first reply he got was, "Shut up, you cockwomble."
No, were they just dancing around?
Really?
Were they just?
Yeah.
Were those?
Cockwomble. That's brilliant. I've never heard that before.
Were those just dancing around a fire? Are they in a cult? That's kind of
Cockwomble.
Yeah, you have to think they might have been in a cult. They seem to have had some sort of satanic influence if their skin turned blue. I mean, come on.
Okay, here's a question for the English people in the congregation.
There's only me.
What place name am I referring to when I say Dick Beer?
Bick what?
Dick Beer, as in penis beer.
No idea.
Cockfosters. There's actually a place in London called Cockfosters.
Oh, right, yeah, I know Cockfosters. Yeah, that is a real place.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
No, it is Cockfosters. No, Cockfosters it's it was actually a place where they used to sell, chickens, the cocks. That was where they used to sell. It was poultry.
Right, that was before Barry Manilow probably started using it.
Yeah, well, it was before Barry Manilow ever existed. I mean, we're talking about people living in sheds.
So they were fostering chickens.
Yeah,
that's actually
seriously Cockfosters. That's exactly what it was. It was a marketplace for
chicken.
That's exactly what.
Hey, look, the name says it. It's kind of like Vine Street or whatever. That's where they used to sell wine. It was, you know, these people were not smart in the old days, so they needed everything kind of spelt out to them. That's the reason that, you know, they didn't have hoardings above saying what it was. They'd have a picture of, you know, their stores. That's why you see the old, you know, the hanging signs outside of a shop or whatever. Like if you're a butcher, it's got a piece of meat or something so that people know you're a butcher.
But now, see, cockfosters or dick beer just denotes that you don't just go there for a golden shower now.
Well,
I hope you're not making a. I hope you're not making a Trump reference, because nothing's ever been proved, and I can't believe Bill Maher still keeps going on about that shit.
But you know, cockfoster is also the pickup line that C.K. Lewis made whenever he.
Yeah, and he's well known for masturbating in front of young ladies.
Mm. Bit of a wanker.
Yeah, he's a tosser. He's a tosser, mate.
Yeah, I always knew he was a wanker.
What is wrong with you people? I mean, yeah. Like,
hey,
how
look,
low
I mean,
brow can we go? I mean,
okay.
Hey, well, all you need is an Australian. Look, it was the Australian who brought it down to that level, right? I mean, he could have gone to Tit Hill, right?
Cabbage.
Would you say that he brought it down under?
Okay. All right. Cabbage and Rat. Do you guys know a bloke called Dara O'Brien?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No shit.
Canadian.
Down south, just south of me, is a town called Darawang.
That doesn't surprise me. Look, you create weird fucking names. I mean, you just make up words as you go along.
We just throw a bunch of fucking letters at them, like Cootamundra and Illawarra and fucking.
It's like Welsh, you know, and you don't even use fucking vowels. Just
here in Norway, which is kind of funny, we have this place that's it's called Hell, and every winter it's freezing over.
Hey, Hell freezes over.
Hey, I've got a place called Hell where I live, and it freezes over every year.
I heard about that last night. You informed me about that one.
Well, the little town that I live in wants to pretend that they're all fucking Scottish descendants, and every year or so they'll have a Scottish festival. So in line with that, I'd rather use a Scottish term instead of the place called Wingham where I live. I like to call it the fuck you doing, because that just seems to be the most common statement I make around here is the fuck you doing. That's how they do it. And the fuck you doing.
Do they have a caber toss?
No, how's this? They tried doing the Battle of Culloden on a football field. A terrain-orientated battle on a football field. Yes, it was pathetic.
I'm surprised it wasn't the Battle of Bannockburn, just to make the Scots feel better.
Actually, they did that the next year, and that's another terrain-orientated battle on a football field.
You're gonna have an equivalent. Oh my god! And then what? I bet they didn't even take down the goalpost, did they?
Nah, and here's even worse. not a fucking proper skin do in sight. You couldn't get fucking haggis for love nor money, and of course my clan isn't even represented.
What, your tartan that you don't have?
No, like my clan, McDonald's. Like, yeah, fucking.
Oh yeah, the tartan. Right?
It's not real.
No, of course it didn't. The tartans only came in around what, the 1800s. It was a fucking royal fetish. Something like
that.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. It's just pathetic to look at all these people. Like, you've never even left the fucking town, let alone the state. How the fuck can you even think that you bloody associated with another country? You fuckwit.
Yeah.
But then the cunts around here can't be trusted to operate a fucking spoon properly. So hey.
Yeah, that's why you got to give them sports. This is the sport movement.
I'm posting a picture in the chat here. The train station in Hell.
So, do they still do those battles, or can you get some footage? That sounds hilarious.
Where did MC go? When did he?
I'll try and do it next year if I get a
What the hell is
get a
wrong with
chance.
MC?
He
Ignorant prick. Where did he go?
out about a half an hour ago.
What an
Yeah,
ignorant
he said a while
twat.
ago that he, like, yeah.
Yes, well, unacceptable.
About 10 minutes after Piper did, actually. Shows how well you pay attention.
I don't need to pay attention because I don't give a shit. Why
Kevin
would I pay attention?
Kevin started talking, and that means that he doesn't give a shit about anyone else.
Rat, you are what? Why are you being such a bitch on me? Hey, look, if you have an opinion, I'll be quiet. I'll go make a cup of tea and listen to you, right?
No,
I mean, if you've got an opinion,
I enjoy
state your opinion, man.
I enjoy your speeches. I enjoy your speeches.
Yeah. Well, have one of your own. Have a thought of your own. Just try it. It's fun.
It's too exhausting.
Who wants a joke then?
No, not yours.
Yeah, sure.
Does it
Go on.
involve
They suck. They always suck.
No, they don't.
They do.
Oh, my
Seriously.
Aussie friend, does it involve explosions? Because usually with you it does.
No, it doesn't actually. No. This one's got a lot to do with wildlife and stuff.
See, it's not about whether he wants it. He's going to force it on us one way or another. So it's kind of like
Oh no! If the fucking whinging Poms is going to sit there and suck all day about it, I'll leave it be. But yeah.
Well, okay. Well, good. Yeah. Okay. Let's take that as read then, shall we? Excellent.
That's why I gave you the option. Did you want to hear a joke?
Excellent. Good.
You're going to sit there and bitch about it. Fuck, you just have to say no.
Well, I can hear that you really want to tell this joke, so can you just get over with it?
That's what I mean. This is what I'm saying.
Fuck
This is what he's trying to play.
Fuck you don't fucking deserve it now. You can get fucked.
You know, at this point, it's like it's so overhyped that it can't even be as funny anymore as it was supposed to be.
No, it won't. Exactly. It will never live up to expectation.
Oh, it absolutely will.
Tabby knocked it off its pedestal.
It absolutely will. It's just, fuck you can sit and wonder now.
Aww.
It's all right. I can watch some porn instead. That'll be fine.
Wanker.
Yes. And a happy one. A happy wanker. A proud and happy wanker. And I don't care who knows it.
Well, I got a question. So now all of a sudden, the backlash against the current Star Wars dog shit is equal to Gamergate. What's up with that bullshit?
Oh, that's a far stretch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
this is where they're just trying to associate something with something else. They don't understand Gamergate if they're trying to do that association. You know, that link, it just doesn't apply. Just
Brianna Wu needs some love.
Yeah.
You guys watch
you know, she's feeling lonely.
Why are they trying to rehash Gamergate?
She can't suck off any more bloody gaming people anymore.
You see, the weird thing is that it's the worst thing they would associate themselves to, because they got fucking hammered with Gamergate. You know, with the whole exposure of the manipulation of the gaming and the relationships and everything else. So why would you want to connect to that? It's weird. They're trying to invert it. It's just fucked up. Just wrong. Just bad. I don't know. These people are not. They don't have logic in their heads. Well, they don't study STEM. They study social stuff. Social sciences. Or social studies, sorry.
They yank their own STEM.
Don't put the fucking science in there.
I am so telling memes that you said that. And there's proof right here.
Yeah, well, it's not social science. I'm sorry.
Well, no, and nobody's mad about the Star Wars movies because they're sexist or anything. They're mad that the plot sucked and the movies suck. Exactly. And they're overextending the franchise and watering it down and making it garbage. That's a problem, and maybe Disney should, I don't know, address that.
I actually...
They're trying to politicize it. They're trying to bring political influence into it. Social, studies influence into it. It's got nothing to do with the plot.
Somebody else wants to talk.
Yeah, but...
Sorry.
Okay, so the movie reviewer Jeremy Johns recently did a video where he talks about why the First Order is not intimidating. I recommend people watch that because it's one of the problems that Disney don't seem to understand about why the Empires was, you know, intimidating compared to the First Order, which is just cringing. But yeah, I think a lot of people were very much like the second you criticize it, it's like, oh, it's because Rey is a woman, and it's like, no, Rey is fine. It's just her character development in the new movie just wasn't very good.
Can I say that
It's like
I'm not like the biggest Star Wars like fanatic, but when I saw that first of the new trilogy, I was like, the pacing and just the atmosphere of the movie is kind of it's not to like the attention span in the older Star Wars movies was a lot like they let the tension really build and they weren't rushed about it, and this was like more frantic and you know, like more of like the modern commercial crappy action sci-fi film.
Yeah, exactly. The thing was, like you were saying, it's like character development. I mean, when you look at the original Star Wars, it was development of the character.
The Force Awakens quite a lot. I thought the first one in the trilogy was quite okay, but the Last Jedi
Jar Jar Binks.
Everything that
well, has anyone ever considered that a lot of people are just jumping on the feminism like the anti-feminism bandwagon now because it's the other side that have said it's only because Rey's a woman. It's like, no, it wasn't because she's a woman, but now you fucking said it. We're just going to say it is just to fucking spite you, because that's my position.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's like I said, it's about the character. If you look at, you know, the original Star Wars, it was about character development, right? You know, I mean, Luke had to learn, you know, the Force. I mean, in about 45 minutes, of course. You know, I mean, you don't believe in the Force. He's only learned about it for 40 minutes or something, and he's suddenly, you know, a staunch believer.
It was a training montage. It was funny as hell, but it was
yeah, but you know what I mean? It's kind of weak.
If you watch that movie, you know, Empire, if you watch Empire Strikes Back, you get like
but it was a development. But when you see the woman and she just gets it overnight, and it's like you know, she just suddenly understands it. You know, when you're looking at the way they're trying to, you know, it just looks way too forced. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, I guess the Force is with her, right?
Wasn't there a good woman character in Rogue One? Rogue One had like a very good woman. I mean,
yeah, but okay. So to be fair to Rey, because I actually enjoy her character, but to be fair to her, Luke did have some male Mary Sue moments as well. So it's not as if,
yeah, it's true.
it's not as if everything was perfect with the original trilogy.
Oh no, I mean, no, that's the point. No, the original ones, the first three were not perfect. I mean, the only good ones were the first two.
But this
I'm not a fan of the third one, to be honest. And the remakes just were there for, I mean, profit. It was profit margin.
But
you know,
I enjoy most of the Star Wars movies. To this day, it's maybe 3 of the entire franchise I did not enjoy at all. But yeah, so I like The Force Awakens pretty good. But I thought The Last Jedi, it was as if they looked at all the fan theories and just went, well, we're not going to do any of this.
It did the total opposite.
And then they killed off all the important characters, and for some reason, Leia survived the movie, but Carrie Fisher is dead. So she might, they might have as well had killed off Leia in a respectful way, but whereas now she has to die off screen in some weird manner. And it's also like the whole, yeah, you know, we're gonna sort of transition from the old crew to the new crew in a very respectable way, and then they just start killing off every one of the old guard.
But they did the same thing with what was his name? You know, the the guy who used to be in Dracula. Where the original.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Count Dooku.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had him in the Reflection, and they couldn't even get that right. I mean, it was all. I mean, it's just been very sloppy. The writing and stuff. I'm sorry, but George Lucas, he can go fuck himself. I mean, it needs somebody. I mean, the concept is good, but the direction is shit.
Oh, well, the problem with everybody is that like they were already going on about, hey, why is there arcing fire? Why are they running out of fuel? Why this? Why that? There was all these other fucking points, and then when they'd all said that, then the fucking director goes, "Oh, it's because Rey was a woman. That's your problem." Are you even listening, dickhead?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's got no relevance.
And it's also the fact that they are very jarringly trying to sort of mirror today's political problems in their movies.
Yeah, and having a gay character.
When I go to see a Star Wars movie, I'm going to see a movie about a galaxy far, far away, and
and hopefully something more ideologically.
A galaxy far, far away.
And you're looking for something which is better than what you have, right? All they're doing is mimicking what we have, and you'll actually look at it and you say, "I fucking hate that." Yeah, it's kind of weird. And so, when you end up with what was the? I mean, they turned who was it into a fucking transgender in the latest one. Not Han Solo, what was his name? The black guy from. When they go and Han Solo gets put into carbonite.
Oh, right? You're talking about Lando.
Lando Calrissian suddenly turns into a fucking transsexual. I mean, I'm sorry, but how do you fucking square that circle?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Like, yeah, okay, so there can be gay people in that universe, but do they have to be? Do they have to come screaming out of the closet, waving their fucking hands, going, "Hello, I'm here"? Do we have to? Fucking no.
And the thing is, why do they have to corrupt an existing character that's already been established, right? If you want a transgender person, introduce them separately and make them a transgender person separately.
Cabbage,
but you're
completely right.
An existing,
Cabbage, you're right. No, yeah, well-known character. You're right, but J.J. Abrams did the same garbage to Star Trek.
Well, he's a cunt anyway.
Even the gay actor who plays Sulu said, "Excuse me, Sulu was straight. He had a daughter. Haven't you even seen Star Trek?" I mean, it's ridiculous. They're throwing that in there because of current political upheaval. I don't know what you even want to call it, really, because I mean, we have equal rights. Homosexuals are allowed to marry, and everything. They won the battle. So you don't need to throw it in people's face anymore. All you need to do is make it a regular, normal thing. So have a new character that's a gay man or a lesbian, whatever.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, though, this is J.J. Abrams' style. He did that.
Well, Abrams is a total cunt, and I have no respect for the fucker.
He fucked up the Star Trek universe.
Fucked up everything he touches. Everything he touches, he fucks up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't.
At least we can agree on something.
he wasn't involved in The Last Jedi, though. So.
Oh, I'm sure he was in some way. I guarantee you, he'd have been on some discussion group or whatever.
If I were J.J. Abrams, I would be fucking furious at The Last Jedi because he built up so many sort of plot points in The Force Awakens that they basically just knocked off the table in The Last Jedi.
He's done nothing
I would have
significant.
been fucking angry.
I think George Lucas and J.J. Abrams should be absolutely fucking ashamed of themselves. But then again, I think most sci-fi is just socialist propaganda anyway. Because most of it is all about ideological horseshit. Like, well, we don't need money, we don't need this, we just have a replicator, and we can
What?
make the things
Whatever
we need,
happened
and we
to
can just have anything
just
whenever we
making?
want it.
Whatever
Nobody has
happened
to
to
work
just
for
making a
anything.
good? Like, why is it so much to ask to just make a good movie?
Well,
you died off, right? But
ask
no,
the people who have to make them. I mean, it's all down to where you get your funding from, right?
Yeah, because it's
funding.
fine to make a movie.
Explain Ghostbusters 2016 then.
Like, it's fine to make a movie with a political statement. It's fine. Like, there are lots of movies with political statements that I enjoy, but why do people directing mindless, let's face it, mindless, senseless action movies, why do they try to make their movies about some grander theme all the fucking time nowadays? It's fucking jarring.
Because they haven't learnt that it doesn't work and everyone fucking hates it.
And this is why I fucking loved John Wick.
But John was the same product of this sort of conformity of just. I mean, if you don't have anything else to watch, then you will watch anything, right? I mean, you have to look at the availability. I mean, people go and I mean, you got
necessarily watch anything. See, I would rather pick up a book. No, I would rather.
If you don't know what it is, if you
just shut up and let me finish my goddamn sentence. I would much rather pick up a book instead of watch something that is quite literally mind-numbing.
Yeah, but how do you know it's mind-numbing? That's the point. Because you're going to be looking at Rotten Tomatoes and seeing what its rating is. No, you're going to have to see it.
That's you, though. But
no, it's mind-numbing.
But that's you, though. That's, however, directors and whatever producers, the general public will watch anything. This is why Pawn Stars has a career.
Yeah, but that's how they, this is the reason that these kind of, they manage to maintain, this, fairly, what would you call it, insipid, studios, and they produce really nothing. But if they have the media control, and so the kind of shit you got to watch, then that's all that's there. And if who checks Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, before they go and watch a film? It's like, well, we got to do something tonight, so we'll go bowling and we'll watch a film, right?
That's not the point.
No, it is, but no, it is the point, because that's exactly how they get the money, and that's how it perpetuates. That's how it's perpetuated, because people want to go out, go bowling, have a have a meal, and then watch a movie.
If you want to push a political message, make something like House of Cards, make something like W, make something, a political thriller, make a political movie, and then your audience will want your political message.
Only if they know about
American.
Only if they know about it.
Do not put SJW politics in Star Wars. Do not add it to my Batman. Don't fuck up an established franchise and make Batman and Robin gay lovers. Don't fuck around. Get the fuck alone.
Oh, come on. Batman and Robin were always gay lovers, man.
Even back in the 60s. Sound like they're not gay lovers as it is.
I know that's always. I know that's
even back in the 60s, mate, they were gay, right? There's no doubt about that. I mean, this is where the introduction of the, that kind of like slap you on the arse.
But I actually totally agree with this. Like, okay, so American History X, one of my favorite movies of all time, is a very political movie. But it's also, that's what it's set out to be. Which is why it's okay. Whereas the Purge election year is shit. Because it's just
I disagree. The Purge. I disagree with the Purge franchise. It was meant to be political the whole time. That's the new founding fathers premise. That's his Purge against the poor premise. That was always political. I think a better example would be like what they've done to Star Wars, as we were just discussing, or Star Trek Discovery. I think that would be a better example than The Purge. Maybe you just don't like the premise of The Purge, but the premise was always political, in my opinion.
No, I fucking love the premise of The Purge, but the thing is, though, that The Purge, the first one is very isolated, and the second one is actually quite good. But the third one sort of took it into... The movie tried to be bigger than it was, which is why it failed, in my opinion.
I believe Hostel 3 did the same thing, so I think it's a trilogy thing when it comes to horror movies. But I see what you're saying. I haven't seen the new one yet. I'm looking forward to it. I am going to check it out, but I do like the Purge series.
Well, some of my favorite reviewers have given it quite an okay score, saying that it's like the second best Purge movie. So.
See, I'd much rather watch old horror flicks.
Yeah, the SJW things, it's starting to seep into Marvel as well, which is pissing me off.
Well, yeah, it's owned by Disney.
Yeah. Fucking Disney, man.
Disney owns just about everything now.
Yeah, all bow before the mouse fury.
Everyone, get on your knees. Suck my dick.
Nice. Nice.
Have I been quiet long enough, or am I allowed to speak now?
No, fuck off.
Quite sure about the protocol.
Oh, shut up. You're fine.
No, sure.
I just wanted to finish my damn sentence.
No, it's not just, a women thing, isn't it? It's just, what are you on, your period? Are you menstruating?
Okay. Actually, I am.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I am.
There you go. I rest my case.
Cabbage's fucking blood detector.
There you go.
Cabbage is the old school. Nope, just can't get them. Just can't leave them talking for long enough. They'll just keep on going.
But I would have yelled at you nonetheless, Cabby, and you know it.
Well, I tell you what, if you would discourse in a significant manner, I would not try to interrupt or interfere in any way. But you don't, so, fuck you.
If you were my husband, maybe.
Yeah, Marvel.
Hey, and Queen, now you know why he's a wanker.
Oh, I love Cabby. I love Cabby. I think he's great.
Yeah, there's a love-hate relationship.
No, I meant literally.
Oh, that's good for him. At least he'll have one strong arm.
I have my imagination. I have an imagination and a hand. That's all I need.
And at least she'll have one strong arm.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Well, yeah, but I tend to move. Yeah, but I use different hands, so I can maintain.
Anyway, moving on.
He's going for the fucking boy. You're going for the hairy palm championships, are you?
I'm ambidextrous.
No, I'm not concerned with that different hands quote that you just said.
Well, I'm saying
how
it's
many
ambidextrous.
hands do you have?
I have two, but they're ambidextrous, so I balance out the.
He's got a third one that's shaped in a fist, though. It's prosthetic.
Right.
Don't ask what he does with that one.
I'll fist
how much
the fuck out of you. I'll fist the fuck out of you, bitch. Sorry, that shouldn't have happened. You see why you vote?
Yeah, see, hashtag fucking.
I got triggered. I got a trigger mechanism.
So what's the difference between
Fucking
jam and
Aussie.
marmalade? You can't marmalade, you dig up a chick's ass.
Well, you people are very offensive, and I don't stand by the comments of the panel.
This is why you gotta love
Mad.
These
people are hilarious. Mad, don't get offended.
So you were all laughing
Seriously.
just after you gave me shit about telling shitty jokes. So you're all a bunch of fucking hypocrites.
No, I said you're hilarious. Get over yourself.
Would I deny it? I wouldn't deny it. Now, fucking Aussies are the best to fucking party with. Seriously, you fucking lunatics. They are the best. They really are. they live in a weird country where everything wants to kill them. They have to get the best out of it while they can. You know what I mean? So
It does kind of send you crazy.
It does.
I
Seriously,
talk
mate.
to
I mean,
a Filipino Aussie every day.
yeah, Filipino is not the same thing. No, Aussies. I work with Aussies. Hell, one Aussie ended up fucking my sister. Prick.
Wow. That's quite enlightening.
Yeah, well, that means that me and Cabbage can't be good mates because I usually tend to fuck with my sisters.
No. I mean, the thing was, you know, I mean, she's older. You know, I mean, she's 29 or whatever it was, and he's 25. I mean, I just thought it was a bit kind of disrespectful in my house when I had to end up driving into work the next day. It's like you just fucked my sister. It was kind of uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It wasn't the best.
So I gather it on the way to work. He stuck his fingers under your nose and goes, "Here, smell this."
No, he didn't do that. He just sat there looking pretty sheepish. He looked pretty fucking sheepish, and it's like, look, you know, it happened. You know, you're both fucking adults. It's got fuck all to do with me. You know, but that's the thing, right? You gotta be adults about this thing.
That's funny. Is he like, do you want some tea? And he's standing there in a fucking towel after using his shower.
Hey, no, I wasn't pissed off at him. I was pissed off at my sister. You know, it's kind of like, you're taking a piss out of my own, under my own roof. You know, it wasn't him. I mean, I knew that he was more. I mean, fuck a tree stump. I knew that.
God damn, your sister. Anyway, moving
no,
on.
I'm just saying that, he was a young Australian. He was like, 20-odd-year-old, young Australian who's, traveling around and, doing his thing. Of course he's going to fuck whatever comes across his way.
Well, I'm sure he was pretty strong fighting off all those drop bears. I mean.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, well, the thing was, though, but the thing is, the guy was a really fucking. I mean, I worked with him for 3 years. 3-4 years. He was a solid dude. So I didn't have any problem, with anything like that. But yeah, Australians, but they know how to party. That's all I'm saying. Australians are good party people.
The trick with drop bears is you keep your eye on them and you wait for them to start to jump. And when they start to jump, you simply step to one side and they go and fucking face plant, knock themselves out, and you just walk away. They're easy to get away from.
But that's the reason they've never been photographed, because nobody's ever done it. You see, it's a theory, but it's never been proven.
Oh, no, we've done it. We just don't have cameras out here. We're all backwards, you see. We're too busy fucking laughing to take a photo.
Well, I'm going to FedEx you a fucking Polaroid, homie. I want some drop.
I am not kidding you. I ended up, who was it? We're in a conversation. It was like about 45 minutes. And I can't understand why the person hadn't even Googled it. And they totally bought into the whole...
It was
like
me,
explaining.
It was
Yes,
me,
it was
correct?
You. Yeah.
And you almost had
you gullible bastard.
You guys almost had me. And then I'm like, wait a minute, you're fucking with me. And I ended it. Yeah. But I let you go on for 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing you Google drop bears and you'll actually get Australian government fucking notices warning you about drop bears. If you Google it, it doesn't fucking help you.
You're kidding, right?
That's why
you have to Google it.
I swear to
Google
God.
it. Just Google, look up, stay safe. Look up. It's got the coat of arms in the bottom corner and everything.
I keep telling people that they're like, well, they're like koalas, but they're more like, wolverines or what are those things that you get? The honey badgers, the really vicious fucking things. And they drop on your head, yeah. People believe this shit. It's so funny. I can't believe that you went on for like 40 minutes. And that you're not the first, though, by the way, Matt. I've done this to plenty of people. People are so fucking gullible, it's untrue.
Who knows what's in Australia? There's some crazy shit down there. You guys got fucking...
Yeah, but drop bears. I mean, come on. This idea that a bear sits in a tree and then just drops on your head. I mean, come on. It's fucking hilarious. How can you not know it's a fucking joke?
we have these weird looking fucking things that jump around on their back legs. Why can't fucking bears jumping out of trees be fucking believable?
Well, that's true, I guess.
That's my point exactly.
We've got these fucking cats with stumpy legs and flat feet and squash fucking mouths swimming around the bloody things that have got super syphilis and a super fucking antibacterial fucking thing, but that's believable.
Yeah, but still not bears. I mean, especially when it's like koalas. It just looks too stupid, doesn't it? You know, I mean,
even their alligators
they just look cute.
Even their alligators are fucked up and they become crocodiles. I mean, there's all sorts of weird shit over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, everything in Australia wants to kill you. Even the plants. I remember seeing this thing about, what is it, like a nettle. And there's a nettle. If you brush up against it, the poison in the spines is enough to kill a human. You know, I mean, even the fucking plants try and kill you.
Oh no, we've got this.
Worse
one. There's an even worse one. There's this one fucking plant we got in far north Queensland. It's so fucking sadistic, right? You brush up against it and it fucking irritates and stings and burns like motherfucking crazy. It's like poison ivy times fucking 1,000 with fucking.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Ghost pepper shit. It doesn't actually kill you. It sends you fucking mad. It's actually sent horses to death. Like horses have actually voluntarily leapt off cliffs to get it, like, because of this shit. There was a famous story of a US Marine during World War II. He was he was in Australia for, I think, leave or something like that, and he wiped his ass with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he, no shit, he was screaming in agony.
I remember hearing that story.
Trying to get someone to fucking kill him.
Yep. And in fact, wasn't that where the story of Arthur Conan Doyle, you know, the Sherlock Holmes thing with the lion's mane? That came from. Yeah, it came from one of those things. Because it sent the guy insane. You know, it comes out of, you know. Oh no, I think that one was actually the box jellyfish. I might have got that confused. But anyway, everything in Australia wants to fucking kill you. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well, box jellyfish burns. A blue-ringed octopus kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, you piss on people with box jellyfish wounds. The ammonia nullifies the poison, the toxin.
Oh, I've had that. I had a black guy pissing on my foot in Barbados
but you're into that.
But the thing was, no. It was child abuse. I was 8 years old.
And you're not denying it.
I'd stepped on a sea anemone or whatever. You know,
sea urchin.
Sea urchin. And I ended up with spines in my foot. And
so do you really have to piss on your foot?
Yeah.
I don't know whether you needed to, but the guy apparently thought it was appropriate, so he just did it anyway.
Yeah, it's the ammonia in your urine. Your urea turns into ammonia, and it counteracts the toxin.
Right, so it's
not a load of shit.
So the toxin is alkali, so the uric acid neutralizes the. Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah, even so, it's particularly disturbing when some black guy gets his dick out and starts pissing on your foot. It's not something that you expect as an 8-year-old.
But it's absolutely not a load of bullshit.
Lucky he's helping you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wasn't traumatized by it, and I don't need to write a trilogy or, you know, create some kind of histrionics.
Sea urchin documentary about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, another fun fact about fucking piss that you can use: if you piss on a rag and breathe through it whilst you're in the midst of mustard gas and phosgene, that usually works too.
Yeah, but seriously, do you really want to smell?
Yeah, I'm not going to take that for a summer trip, so...
I'd rather sniff a piss-covered rag than fucking die of phosgene poisoning.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm still not going to do that.
Yeah, but the phosphorus anyway would hit your eyes. You'd be blind. I mean, so you may be able to breathe, but you wouldn't be able to see because it would just fucking burn your eyes.
Yeah, well, that's why they had, you know, one guy with a gas mask being, you know, with a trail of fucking blind cunts behind him back in World War One.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mustard gas, you know? Yeah. We were talking about this. Where's MC? Fucking MC went.
He gone.
I know. He's weak. Yeah. But when they were testing the mustard gas, you know, and the dispersal techniques and things like that, and the majority of the problem, it wasn't actually the inhalation, it was more what happened with, you know, people's skin and everything, you know.
Yeah, it soaked into the uniforms and just sat there.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it, you know, because you got to still, unless you're going to wash your uniform, and they didn't have water to even drink, let alone wash. I mean, these are smelly people.
Yeah, another fun use for piss too is if you get tinea. This is an old army trick. This one, you piss in your feet in the shower. The ammonia kills off the fungus.
Yeah, that's well known. Yeah, it gets rid of athlete's foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Natural solutions. Oh, are you getting tired, dear? Women, no stamina.
Oh, another fun use for urine you can use too. You can throw it on the President of the United States. I hear he likes it.
No, only on his bed. It's got to be on his bed. I can't believe that Bill Maher still goes on about that. You know, still uses it as a reference. It's pathetic. I mean, has there been any evidence to the fact that that actually happened? But no, they still keep pulling it out as like, oh, well, this happened. I mean, seriously, can anyone show me an article where they've actually proven that Donald Trump wanted somebody to piss on his bed or
well,
a bed?
They've actually proven that it's a bullshit story, so, hey.
But, yeah, but then why, you know... This is why I can't have any...
People don't retract anything anymore because that means that they're wrong. And they would like to be proven wrong.
Who was the Prime Minister before May?
Oh, you mean Cameron? That twat.
Yeah.
You mean that? You mean the pig fucker? The
one
what do stuck his dick in a pig?
Yeah, what do they keep hounding him about that?
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, come on. I mean, people think I'm obnoxious and arrogant or whatever, but I do admit, you know, if I don't know something or whatever, I'm more than happy to admit.
I think you're boisterous and loud.
Well, of course I am, but that's, you know, that's my personality. So, you know, get used to it or get fucked.
I love you, Debbie.
Yeah, well, I love you too in a non-sexual, engaging way because I don't want to offend you and whatever. I don't know. Whatever criteria is necessary to not make me technically liable for something. But anyway, I mean, seriously, how do you even fucking respond to anyone these days? You know, it's like you can't just say thank you, right? You have to qualify everything.
Yeah. Well, that was the funniest answer I have ever heard.
Well, and it's so sad that it's necessary. Well, it's not even necessary. It was just meant to be sardonic. If only the people who make these rules understood the word sardonic.
Okay, so BuzzFeed really believes that the drop bear is real. 10 terrifying facts about the drop bear.
No, nobody believes that drop bears exist, mate. It's only you.
Fucking BuzzFeed does.
Drop bears is the greatest attraction. The greatest attraction to Australia.
No, you see, we're only admitting to the drop bears because we don't want to tell you about the bunyips.
Here, why are you guys fucking with Mad so bad?
We're not fucking with Mad.
I'm not fucking with him.
We're interacting. What do you think it's? This is called male interaction. This is what we do. It's camaraderie. God, you see, what you want to connect with us, right? You want to get deep. You want to know our emotional connection to the drop bear. Well, personally, I think that the drop bear is just misunderstood.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yes, we have to have action groups for drop bear awareness for their plight.
That's right. Yeah, I think the drop bears are a misunderstood creature, and that they should have rights and we need to have a protection zone.
Well, are they sentient?
Well, we don't know, do we? So therefore, we have to give them that credence because, you know, better safe than sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to create a petition on whitehouse.gov to save the drop bears of Australia.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
That being said, any last thoughts, guys? We're going to wrap this shit show up. I am sorry I'm a day late and $1 short. I had a test to do yesterday and a paper and a lot of shit around the house to do today.
What do you mean? You barely got yourself involved in the entire stream. You've been.
I've been here. This must well be the cabbage show because you guys kept talking, and then when we talk, you tell us to stop and die. So, you know, you can't talk the whole time.
You whiny
tell me I
bitches.
don't ever talk. Anyway,
you whiny bitch. No, I can, and you know the reason I'm talking more is because you're not fucking talking. Look, if you were talking, I wouldn't be talking.
If you enjoy the cabbage show, subscribe.
You are such a dick. If you were talking, I wouldn't need.
Let's go through the rest of this. Go back through the stream and wait and see how many times someone just talks and Cabbage stops and waits for someone to just talk and then he starts talking again.
That'd be a nice drinking game. Anyway, we will back
tell you
tomorrow.
What, okay. I'll tell you what, Matt.
I am doing the Friday show. Oh, come on, Cabbage. You know we're flicking you shit. Take a sip of tea. Have a crumpet and chill.
I'll have a crumpet with some strawberry jam. How about this? I just fucking stream on mine. How about that? You like that?
How about
no? Cut it out.
Cabbage, you are the life of the party.
There you go. Right.
God damn it, Cabbage. No, but I think
the issue.
I thank everybody for watching who has and will. Please like and subscribe. If you want to check out my mind.
Hit the bell. The bell.
Yeah,
don't forget the bell.
Yeah, do not forget the bell. Check me out over on Minds and Twitter. I do have a PayPal tip jar and a Patreon. Good night, good luck, and watch out for them drop bears. They'll get you.